welcome to Business Connections, a program put on by the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Holly Allen. I'm Director of Marketing and Communications for the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. Today we're talking about one of my favorite topics for the whole year. As we all know, the Dayton region is known for innovation, and so every year the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce recognizes a business that's living that innovative spirit for which the Dayton region is known. And we do that through the Soin Award for Innovation. This is an award that we partner with the generous Soin family for, and we find one business that has an innovative idea that it's trying to bring to the marketplace, and we award that business with $25,000 to make that dream become a reality. Today I am joined by John Rosentengel. He's president of Redwall Technologies, which is a Beavercreek based technology company. And John, Redwall was the winner this past year. In 2016, you were recognized at our annual meeting. Thank you for being here with us today.
And thank you for having me here.
And congratulations on the big win.
Well, thank you.
I guess I see this as your reigning year. You're still our winner for the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
Until we choose a new winner. Can you tell me about Redwall Technologies? And I know it's a tech company. It's a little complicated what you do, but in a nutshell, can you explain what Redwall does?
Well, so Redwall, the company, kind of formed around a visionary and a certified ethical hacker named Eric Unier. And he had this concept of how to build a device that you could use for phones, tablets, actually in the automotive industry, etc., that would sort of defeat himself. So it's something that he wouldn't be able to break into. And the basic core of the idea is that after we secure the operating system, we divide the device up into any number of unique devices. So if you're looking at a cell phone, let's imagine that you're an employee, but you want to do your own FaceTime or play, Candy Crush or something and post your score, that's right, on Facebook. Right. But your company's not going to want you to connect that phone to their network and give you access to your work email, confidential documents that the company may have. So what Redwall provides is your ability to do that, and then when you switch to your work mode, it's as though you took that phone, you put it in your pocket, and you pulled out a separate phone. Everything that's on the device is now different. It's its own applications, its own data. Everything's completely separated between the two different types of device. So it literally is an additional device. And from this standpoint, we can divide a single device up into any number of devices so that you may want to keep your health information or your banking information separate from things like Facebook that share your information all over. So you could have 3 different modes with a Redwall device.
So it's like having 3 phones in one.
Exactly, okay. and quite literally we have people in this area based on the jobs that they perform for the U.S. government generally that carry as many as 4 phones. Wow. We often show an image of President Obama where in the single image you can see him using at the same time 3 separate phones. Wow. They're all laid out in front of him.
Just not enough pockets for that many phones.
Exactly.
It would be much easier to have it all on one device.
Exactly.
I think it's really interesting. You use the term I think not many people have heard, ethical hacker.
Correct.
Your founder was essentially a hacker, but he was doing work for good, I guess is the way you can say it.
Absolutely, yeah. So he's a sort of a nation state level hacker. So if the United States has need to get into some kind of a system or find out if there's a way to do that in a legal manner, say for law enforcement, etc., he is someone who would regularly get brought in to consult on how would they go about doing that.
Okay, and so he used his expertise to help others protect themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So in the early days of this technology, he went out to a Walmart and he bought every device that you could buy at the time that was a phone, and over the weekend, he had his malicious software running on all of them. So
hack fest.
He could follow the device from its GPS and turn the microphone on and listen to you talk.
That's scary
take
stuff.
Pictures, everything that he wanted to remotely, complete control of the device. And that's still pretty much the case across the board. As far as we know, we're the only mobile device technology that's been able to stand up to our nation's top hackers.
Wow.
So we've been through quite a bit of testing in this last year.
Okay. Well, you did a great job explaining it. We're really good at the Chamber to subjecting you to cameras. And so not only are you here today, yes, we put together, when you were recognized at our annual meeting, we had a nice little video that explains what you do. So we want to share it with our viewers today. So we want to show you that video.
Hi, I'm Raj Soin, Chairman of Soin International. The Dayton area has a rich history of innovation and entrepreneurship, and is the home of some of the world's leading innovators, such as the Wright brothers, John Patterson, and Charles Kettering. The Dayton Chamber of Commerce started Soin Award for Innovation on its 100th anniversary in 2007. It was to recognize and honor a regional company that demonstrates this community spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation. As an entrepreneur myself, I believe that majority of the jobs are created by small businesses started by innovative ideals of entrepreneurially minded individuals. It is the persistence, creativity, and optimistic attitude of these individuals that allows many of them to go on and create thriving businesses.
This year's winner is no exception, as we recognize Redwall Technologies as the 2016 recipient of the Soin Award for Innovation.
Soin International and Soin family are very pleased to continue to support and be involved in recognizing the innovative companies and the entrepreneurs of the Miami Valley region.
Redwall began with the vision of a certified ethical hacker named Eric Unair.
He had this concept for a way to protect mobile devices and other connected devices.
So he went out and he looked at everything that is our current competition and was able to pretty much walk right through anything. So he said, how can I defend against myself?
We took his concept, implemented it, and brought it to market.
Redwall is a combination of two security-related terms. A red team is a group that does security investigation and testing of a device, and a firewall is a device that protects you from external threats.
One of the things that Redwall directly addresses is the conflict between what the user wants to do and what the organization needs to allow.
Any device can be hacked, and there are exploits out there now that claim to be able to hack over 90% of all Android devices.
Redwall in particular is designed such that it has multiple modes that fit the role you're taking on through the day.
Essentially like you're carrying around multiple devices. It's like you've got one phone that lets you do whatever you want. You have another phone that's very secure. The two devices are separated with encryption, and they're also separated temporally, which means it's like you turn the device off and then you turn it back on, and now you have a different device. And because they are separated in those two ways, nothing can cross from one device to another. And the ability to have multiple modes, as many as you need, is one of the things that makes Redwall innovative. So you can lock down one mode and know that you can trust it, and then therefore use it in a trusted environment, but in another mode have it be very lax and very permissive and allow you to do everything you need.
From that standpoint now, the IT department can completely control what connects to their network, while the user has complete control over their personal mode. And that allows a single device to serve all of its customer base.
One of the ways that we test our software is that we make use of every available exploit that we can find, and our hacker in Chicago will apply it to our Redwall devices, and to date nothing has been able to penetrate our defenses. One of the really innovative aspects of Redwall Mobile is how quickly we can move from device to device. The average life cycle of a mobile device is maybe 18 months before the new version comes out. And if it takes you a year or so to port your security software to work on that device, then it's not very useful. Redwall Mobile, we can do a port in about a month, another month for testing.
So one advantage of the Dayton area is there is a lot of engineering and developer talent in the area. We also use students from Wright State University. The state of Ohio actually has a program right now that allows you to use local college students, and there's a subsidy on paying them. It's a big advantage to a company that's just getting off the ground.
Mobile and cybersecurity are two of the hottest tech areas in the world right now, and the fact that we're able to do that in Dayton and not in Silicon Valley or New York or something, we're able to be working on cutting-edge technology right here in Dayton is very exciting.
The Soin Award comes at a perfect time for Redwall. We just now are hitting the marketplace, and to be recognized by the local business community as a highly innovative solution will give us additional marketing presence.
We know our solution is the very best out there, and trying to, as a small company, getting that message out, it can be challenging. Being able to use some of the press from this award is going to help us further our message.
Redwall's got green pastures ahead. We expect that by 2020 there will be more than 30 billion devices connected to the internet worldwide. And at the same time, we know we're providing the American and worldwide populations with a level of security in their own homes that they would otherwise not have.
Can you talk about, since you were announced the winner of the Soin Award, how has progress been? I know you were working on getting some large buyers interested in the product.
Yes.
Can you talk about what you've been working on?
Yeah, well, to some extent.
Yes. Another
Many
confidentiality issue.
That's right. Many of these companies, because we don't sell the end product, we are something that goes in their product, they generally like to brand us. So it's their device. But we have, in this past year, we've increased the number of large device manufacturers that we're working with. We've increased the number of devices that we're on with these device manufacturers. We have increased the markets that we're going into and expanding rapidly the number of companies that we're actively talking with in these newer markets as far as getting into their devices. So you should be seeing us in public safety. You'll be seeing us in automotive, we hope, in the near future. And then we've spent a lot of energy internally to go out and kind of address the government customer directly. So while we do expect to sell through partners into the government, we wanted, special forces types, Department of Defense, some of the intelligence community. We want them to know, who we are, what the technology is, and we've gotten a lot of interest there. Again, I mentioned the kinds of testing that we've been through, sponsored by these organizations, very successful testing, and I think that we're, this next year we're going to explode in the military and intelligence community. So
that's exciting. That's
yeah.
great. You guys have been working really hard.
Yes, we have.
Would someone know if your product was on a device they purchased?
Well, right now, if your device has multiple modes, we call them, where it acts like a completely different device under different situations, you would know that we're there.
Okay.
But there are devices and situations that we are actively on wherein the modes concept doesn't really play, or at least it's not obvious to the observer. So if you take a body-worn camera, for instance, that camera may have separate modes that might go along with a shift change or something, but it's not something that the user would see. They just are wearing a camera. That camera and the evidence it collects are protected, the chain of custody of evidence, by our security, as opposed to a device that may not have that. Potentially it could be hacked and the video might not be as valid.
And I've been to your office in Beavercreek, and I can imagine that sitting there as you're all, typing on your separate monitors, that it's hard to see the physical, what you're doing for people because you're so caught up in the coding. And I'm not a technology person, but yeah, you can imagine that, the technical side of it, and you forget that you're doing something real for people to protect their information, which is an important thing that you're doing every day. So.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go into a manufacturing facility that's building a device, you can see the progress as it moves down the line and it becomes what it is that you're making. with software, it's a lot more nebulous.
Right.
And you're right, it is kind of hard to really have the team sort of see in a visual way what they're doing, and particularly in a security arena, right? It's not like we made a web page that we can all go and visit.
Right.
We do have that, but that's not our company and that's not our product.
Right.
Our product is something that if we're doing what we're supposed to be, we're invisible.
Right. Right. And I think that was a point that you made when we talked to you before. Can you talk about your biggest hurdles doing business and trying to, is that it, that you don't have anything to point to and say this is what we make, or?
Actually, we do run into a little bit of that, because the strongest points of our solution are ones that are really only of interest to certain people at government agencies that care about how secure something is.
Right.
It's hard to get a lot of interest, but the mode switching that we do is very visual. It's something that we can show, something we can talk about. Additionally, some of the things in the company's personnel in their past, like Eric with the certified ethical hacking, there's a lot of things that he's done and he can demonstrate, but he can't talk about outside of a classified arena. So it is kind of hard to get people to see that. But that's, at this point, really, it's not a big hurdle for us. We've had very good exposure in this last year. Our real hurdle at this point is that we are, looking at a lot of interest from a number of different industries, and it takes a while in each one of these industries to start to get the revenue stream rolling, but you have to do the upfront work. So we integrate into someone else's product, then that product goes out and is sold. So we have to figure out exactly how we balance growth to allow us to get into these markets while we're keeping our budget under control. And that's something that the Dayton area does very well for us, in that the kinds of people we need, we're able to have excellent talent in this region at a very good rate, and those people have excellent lifestyles in comparison to people, say, in Silicon Valley that they require a lot more pay, and you could probably put their house inside of one of our guys' houses. So it's a very good place for us to be staging out of, given that we have to go through this growth.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And, we know that the Dayton region has really focused on technology companies and trying to grow that industry. So it's great to hear that you're finding those benefits that we talk about so often at the Chamber, that they're actually proving to be true as you continue to grow your business. We didn't talk so much, though, about how you ended up here, because your founder, Eric Unair, was in Chicago, correct? Is that
correct?
So how did this end up in Dayton?
All right, so the Dayton portion of the company is a couple of partners of myself. We formed a company called Soin Technologies in 2012. We walked away from a company that we were part of founding that did medical devices. So that company, we went out and scanned mammogram films and wrote algorithms that would find what's likely to be cancer in those images. That company got purchased and sort of became a public company and was a growing effort, and we started to have the itch to go start something new. And so we stepped out. We started a company in the area with a mind for finding that next product that we wanted to take to market. We hooked up with Eric out of Chicago. He had a funded effort to make this secure device work on a cell phone. We picked up the contract. We made it work according to Eric's idea, and then we liked it, so we bought the intellectual property. And we've taken it to market. So that's kind of where the Beavercreek piece of this comes up. And then, of course, Chicago has a rich history of supporting public safety, stuff like that. So we were able to quickly get on contract that would take us into the public safety market. So
nice. Okay. So the Soin Award, how did that come about? You knowing about it? How did you decide to apply for it?
Well, so, in the area, we met with a whole lot of different people. We had a lot of different advisors, people from different companies, ex-entrepreneurs, and, constantly meeting and networking in an area. And so I believe we were pointed to it by a friend of ours that was running a pretty substantial local company, and said, hey, you need to take a look at this. Mm-hmm. So we did, and I thought the process was really very good, in that the committee took a serious look at the whole company, the business at hand, the idea, the vision for that idea, the history, and the people involved. And it wasn't like a real quick get up and do the Shark Tank.
Right,
like,
you're right. It's not like Shark Tank.
A bunch of sizzle, and then whoever had the brightest smile walked off with money, and everybody else lost. It was a very serious handling of our entire enterprise.
That's good to hear. I have sat through those judging sessions. The Chamber actually puts together a group of fantastic business leaders who have really good experience in this, and of course the Soin family sits at the table as they judge the applicants. And you're right, they ask some really tough questions of the applicants, and they look at all aspects of the business because they want to know that they're investing, I guess, to some degree in an idea and a product that will really make it on the marketplace. So you made it through, and I'm glad to hear it wasn't too terrible to go through that process. Do you have any advice for businesses who might see this, business leaders who are thinking that this might be a good fit, and is it worth doing it? What do you have to say to them? Yeah,
I would say the most important thing is to really know what your vision is. Mm-hmm. And so in my case, I was lucky in that I had Eric Unair, who mm-hmm. had the vision. All I really did was identify a genius and a great idea and said, okay. And so then who else is going to go in and win this award for us? Mm-hmm. It's not me. I'm not the visionary in this case. And so I brought Eric down, and I had him convey what it was that he was trying to create, and why, and how he was hoping to help the warfighter protect our soldiers, against malicious acts. So that's where I would have them focus their information. Then it's important to hit the history of the company, where things came from, and the people, right? Because this really is it's an innovative product, mm-hmm. but it's a regional effort. Right, you're right. And so you're not just a handful of people that are looking for money from one of the coasts and going to pull your company out and run off as soon as you can get a big check somewhere. Absolutely, and that is something they're looking for. That's the whole idea here, is to grow local companies that have great ideas and really continue that spirit of innovation that Dayton is so known for. So would you do it again? Oh, absolutely. Had the opportunity? Yeah. I hope to do maybe not this exact one again, but yeah. Yeah. We're hopefully not done. Okay. So do you think that more people will have heard of Redwall Technologies if we touch base with you in 5 years? Where do you think you'll be? Well, that really all does depend. There are people who will know of Redwall, and in the Department of Defense space, we've created enough name that now when we talk to partners in that area, mm-hmm. They have interest in riding sort of our coattails, so they want to put our name forward. Mm-hmm. Whereas, people that already own their space, they want us inside, right? But quietly, right? Because it's theirs, right? It's their product, it's their idea, and so I would guess that if you're involved in the Department of Defense, I would hope you would know of Redwall. I would expect many other people not to really realize that, mm-hmm. that their things are being protected by a small company here, and well, maybe not so small at that time. That's what we're hoping for. Region. Yeah. Right, based right in Beavercreek. Absolutely. Well, John, I want to thank you for being here today. Is there anything that I didn't cover? Anything you would like to add? No, I think we really appreciate the Soin family and the Dayton Area Chamber for giving us this opportunity and kind of bringing us forward to meet the local community.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you bringing your idea our way so that we can spread the word. If you want to know more about Redwall, there is an article in our Focus magazine. The Dayton Area Chamber does a quarterly magazine, and you can see that at daytonchamber.org. The Chamber will start accepting applications for the 2017 Soin Award, the next Soin Award for Innovation, in late December of 2016, and that will open at daytonchamber.org. You can apply online there. Keep checking back. The window will open the end of December 2016 as we get a little closer. Again, it comes with a $25,000 award. You can't beat that, and plenty of opportunities for exposure. You could be sitting right here in John's seat with cameras on you, so it's definitely worth the time to apply. In the meantime, you can keep up to date with the Chamber, daytonchamber.org, or we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you so much for being with us today. Have a great one.
Business leaders who live with the passion of entrepreneurs have always played an important role in our local economy as well as our nation's. This entrepreneurial culture we have created in America, which includes our many other freedoms, has always stimulated our economy's belief that our free market ideal of capitalism is still the best economic model in the world. Capitalism allows for those who are risk takers to roll the dice, sometimes many times, in order to create companies that are dynamic, profitable, and grow jobs. We are blessed with many in our community who treasure the opportunity to succeed. These men and women understand that their dedicated hard work can achieve their dreams of owning a successful business. One of our business leaders is Raj Soin. Raj and his wife Indu have worked hard to create many businesses as part of their legacy. Just as importantly, they've instilled this same drive in both of their sons, Vishal and Amol. But they've also tried to stimulate that success in others too. In 2003, during the Chamber's 100th anniversary, the Soins wanted to create an incentive that would help young budding entrepreneurs get their businesses to the next level. But these businesses must show creativity in their product and marketing approach. So the Soin Award for Innovation was created by our Chamber of Commerce that year, the area's largest business association and the 25th largest in the nation. Each year we solicit applications for this special marketing award that also carries a $25,000 gift, which is meant to help stimulate the company's growth and success. The award is traditionally given each year at the Chamber's annual meeting in April. Our application process for 2017 will begin around December 1st through mid-February of 2017. You'll be able to find our process online at daytonchamber.org or by calling the Chamber offices at 937-226-1444. We encourage businesses of all industries to apply and hope that they'll be recognized by the Award Selection Committee in April. Besides the grant, this award also carries a significant marketing package for the award-winning business. The Soin family and our Chamber are both looking to help our next bright stars that may well be the Raj Soins of Dayton's future.